Martinez, MMANytt, here with Rosi Sexton, who will be doing the commentary for female fights at Cage Warriors 66 tomorrow here in Copenhagen. So Rosi, you're doing the commentating for women's fights. Are you excited for them?
Yeah, it should be great. It should be a great fight. The Emma Delaney, Lisa Landsberg fight, that's going to be an interesting one, I think.
Obviously, Lena Landsberg being Swedish, she's a bit, she's known to our viewers. I think people will be interested in sort of what do you know about her, what do you think of her skills, or sort of how do you match her skills up against Emma Delaney's?
I think Lena comes from a Muay Thai background. She's got a good takedown defence. I think her last fight was against LJ Adams, who's another British fighter. And I know LJ's got good wrestling, so I think she's definitely going to be tough competition for Emma Delaney. Emma comes from a judo background, so she's going to be more of the grappler in the matchup. So it'll be interesting to see who can impose their game plan on this one.
And so, how long have you been doing commentating?
I've done the last few the women's fights for the last few Cage Warriors shows. It's good because I know a lot of the women in Europe or in the Cage Warriors divisions, so it's great to be involved and to be able to be part of that.
Now, I think a lot of viewers perhaps know you from your fights as well. You're obviously a very experienced fighter yourself. You're unfortunately coming off of a loss in your career that's also stopped your career at the UFC. It was a bit controversial circumstance around that fight. It seemed people reacted pretty harshly towards that fight, but afterwards you seemed pretty all right. Like it wasn't as bad as it looked. Sort of looking back now and sort of all the hysteria around that fight, how do you feel about it?
It's the same thing with everything in MMA. Everyone's got an opinion. It was last year I went up a weight class to fight in the UFC because it was a great opportunity, and it's something that I wanted to experience. It's something I wanted to be part of. The results didn't go in my favour, but I think I had put in some good performances against some tough girls, and definitely had a great experience. It's something that I'll always remember having the opportunity to do that. So I'm sort of at a point now where I'm sort of thinking where I'm going to go next, and looking at maybe having another fight, but we'll see what happens.
What are some of the positives that you feel that you've learned in those fights against Alexis Davis and Jessica Andrade?
Really, it was just the whole UFC experience. It's being part of the big show, something that I've watched for years, and I suppose all the time, when I was all the time I've been fighting, there's always been that question of whether the UFC is going to have a women's division. And I think a lot of people thought that it was going to take a lot longer than it did, and maybe it would be after I was retired. So when the opportunity came round, it was something that I had to jump at. It's not my usual weight class, but I thought, well, we've got to give it a go. And it was a great experience.
So you're interested in another fight, any particular opponent that you're sizing up, thinking maybe that would make a good matchup?
Well, one opponent who I've always wanted to fight all through my career was Megumi Fuji. And there's a couple of times when that fight looked like it might happen, and then it never quite did for one reason or another. And then last year, Megumi announced she was retiring. Which obviously, on the one hand, I totally respect that decision. But on the other hand, it's a little bit disappointing for me. So, I suppose when I started thinking about having another fight, I thought, well, wouldn't it be great if we could just do one more, for both of us to go out on. I think her last fight ended on... It was slightly...
controversial circumstances.
There was a bit of an injury, accidental eye poke, I think. So I thought, it could be great for both of us to do that. I don't know yet whether it's something she might be interested in, or whether... whether she really does want to leave it, call it a day there. But yeah, so that's something I thought might be a possibility. But there's definitely some other girls out there who I think would make a great match. We're at similar points in our careers, and people who I've wanted to fight for some time now. So we'll wait and see what happens.
So you're not ready to make any call-outs or challenges yet?
Well, like I said, nothing's official yet. We're looking into a few options. Let's say that.
Now, this is the first Cage Warriors event in Scandinavia. You're obviously used to the promotion, you know it well, but for the Scandinavian fans who might not know as much about it, what do you think they should expect of Cage Warriors 66 tomorrow here in Copenhagen?
Cage Warriors is a great event for the fighters. It's always very professional, very well run. You know, runs very smoothly, and I think that's one of the great things to have a well-known European show, a well-known brand, and because of that, you know, the production standards are very high. You know, always the streaming is very high quality videos, and like I said, there's always a great atmosphere there. You know, I think the fighters really come wanting to fight. You know, there's a lot of up and coming talent. It's you know, very hungry fighters wanting to make an impression. So I'm looking forward to a great night of fights.
I can tell you the fans are definitely looking forward to a great night of fights and also a great night of great commentary, which we'll be seeing Rosi Sexton doing for the fight between Emma Delaney and Lina Landsberg. This is Sebastian Middle-Martinez, MMANytt here with Rosi Sexton. Thank you very much for your time.
Great to speak to you.